you think that you were targeted in such a heinous way, or evil, as you say? Because truly it is to smear someone and to drag their name through the mud. It is evil. So why do you think you were targeted in this way?
I think Casey Wasserman was jealous. He's with the DNC out in California. I have somewhat of conservative values, so I think he was jealous. I mean, he inherited all his money. You know, I'm a self-made man, so you have that. Jason Stein was angry because he lost the business. Roger Goodell was angry at me because I was hammering him to fix this thing with the kneeling and the players to their satisfaction. And then you got a couple of Papa John's board of directors, Mark Shapiro and Steve Ritchie, who benefited in the tens of millions of dollars from them doing this. So all the stars were aligned perfectly with one motive, and that is to get rid of me. Now, whether that was a conspiracy, whether this was organized or not, we still don't know that. We're looking for that. But definitely they all were organized, and they did act in my best and my worst interest, and by proxy in the companies and the franchisees' worst interest.
And now take me back to a few years ago when you start to see these headlines coming out and smearing your good name. How did you feel at the time when you were seeing these headlines?
State of shock. Unbelievable. I couldn't understand it. I mean, again, you have a public board that paints its chairman complicit, passive, or active. They paint the founder as a racist. They know he's not a racist. It's just unbelievable. And I used to lay in bed just going, how did they do this? And we've had 3 goals for the last 20 months to get rid of this N-word in my vocabulary and dictionary and everything else because it's just not true. Figure out how they did this and get on with my life. If Papa John's would just say, hey, we got in a hurry, we didn't follow proper due diligence and process with Delaware law, John has no history of race or racism. There wasn't anything on that tape that was race. We're sorry we made a mistake. I've forgiven them in my heart, but, you know, they keep on.
All right, so I just played this clip right here of John Schnatter being interviewed on OAN, and basically they're rehashing the whole thing about what happened with him a couple years ago and why he pretty much fell from grace. To basically bring you up to speed for those of you who have been living under a rock, basically, John Schnatter came under fire when he basically opposed the whole kneeling thing with the NFL players, which was not the smartest thing for him to do, considering he ran a pizza chain, a very popular pizza chain by the name of Papa John's, which was very popular amongst people who say were, how can I put it, using them for like Super Bowl parties or, you know, different footballing events or sporting events and everything like that. And he lost a lot of business. He ended up having to step down as CEO. Then he got to the chairman position, and then it got even worse. And then he had to step down from his chairman position. I would say John Schnatter is one of the few PC men whose PC privilege worked more so against them than for him. And now he's still trying to clean that up even years later, as far as going to do this interview and trying to clear his name, and then try to say that he's being the victim of quote unquote cancel culture. No, John Schnatter, if you are the victim of cancel culture, it's because you canceled yourself. You got exposed. And then he's trying to cover it up and lie and try to make it seem like we didn't all hear him say what he said on them tapes, or like it wasn't him. That's their MO. Deny, deny, deny everything, even when your ass has been caught red-handed. What I thought was very interesting was that in the interview, you couldn't see the video, is he was wearing his company shirt, as if he still has an attachment to his company. You know, I mean, I guess. But what got me, and if you heard it and probably got you, is when he said that they've been working for 20 months to get the N-word out of his vocabulary. It took you 20 months, which is well over a year, to get that word out of your vocab, but then try to sit there and claim that you're not a racist. I've always said that a racist isn't even really defined by some of the stuff that they say. They could be racist and not say the N-word one day in their life, even though, let's be real here, every racist has said the N-word a few times in their lifetime. But it's more more on top of what they do or what they oppose. And his actions, as far as how Colin Kaepernick chose to protest, it pretty much displayed that. And like I said, that's why John Schnatter wasn't smart, because he owned a very large pizza chain that was heavily used by many people in America every single week, especially on Super Bowl Sunday. And you lost all that business. That's why you had to step down. But he still feels that it wasn't his fault, that he was being canceled. He's the victim of the cancer cult. No, John Schnatter, you canceled yourself for being a moron and a racist. No matter how you flip it, spin it, turn it around, upside down, right side up, that's what you are, and you exposed yourself. You could not see. That's the thing about a racist. They can't help themselves. Even when there's a moment where they could scale back and just think, oh, for a second, maybe I shouldn't do this because this and this could happen. So maybe I should rethink. They just have to come out the woodwork and say it was on their mind, even at the expense of losing a business. Now, I don't know if he still gets income from Papa John's. He probably still does, but it's nowhere near where it used to be. As a matter of fact, speaking of income, after this incident also, his net worth took a dip. Because I think John Schnatter was knocking on $1 billion, but that got scaled back when he came out a couple years ago about the whole protest situation and people stopped going to Papa John's. And they were basically saying, look, we're not going to go to Papa John's anymore as long as John Schnatter is still the CEO and the face of the company. So to save the company, he had to step down. It was either you step down and the company gets saved, or you don't step down and watch it crumble out of existence and Papa John's just kind of fades into obscurity. But they had him step down to the chairman position. They was like, no, that's still not good enough. And they saw them numbers still continue to plummet. They said, no, we want him gone. We don't want him to have a position in the company. We want him out. If y'all pay him under the table, that's one thing. Okay, fine. But it's not like he has to be there, like at the board, in the boardroom. Notice that you don't see those Papa John commercials anymore. You know, that better pizza, better food, better pizza, whatever, better pizza, whatever that damn thing was. That Papa John's commercial. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You don't see those anymore. I haven't seen them well over a year. He lost his own company and in his own endorsement because he couldn't keep his mouth shut, because he couldn't help himself. And you would think many others would take notice, but they can't help themselves either. But some of them can find a way to slip through the cracks. John, on the other hand, could not do that. And like I said, this is one of the few times when PC privilege did not work in favor of the PC. Oh, well. It is what it is, but John, stop lying. Stop lying and saying that you aren't this and you aren't that when you clearly are that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you have not done so already, please text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live.